number one, I know that several people have come up stating that they've had interest in the property in North Hills, and I, as a Sherwood resident, would love to have an additional restaurant in Sherwood. However, with that being said, I don't necessarily want one business owner to be put out for another business owner to be put in. I want the city to grow economically, and with that, I want more restaurants to come. However, my main purpose for coming up here today is that when I looked at the RFP just as a citizen of Sherwood, because in my role as a salesperson, I oftentimes have to do city, county, and state bids. And to me, from someone who oftentimes does bids, it seemed very confusing. There were some things that were contradictory. On page 3, it stated that, you know, a sealed bid was to be turned in. It did not state how many copies. It just stated a sealed bid had to be turned in, which is fairly standard when you're submitting a bid to a municipality to send or mail a bid. So when I went to page 8 and I saw that it could also be emailed to a PDF, I found that to be a little bit odd because it just, in my role, I've not really seen a lot of bids that could be emailed in. I know that Josh did state, Mr. Alexander, he did state that, you know, those were going to be protected. I just did not think that having bids emailed in the form of a PDF necessarily sounded fair, or it could open up some questions on when that was open, since it would be an emailed PDF. So those were my two main things. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more clarification on the RFP regarding the capital improvement, whether there was going to be some sort of cap. I know they said that would be negotiated whenever the lease was awarded, that would be something negotiated. But just as a citizen looking at it to protect our taxpayer dollars, I would like to see more detail in the RFP regarding that. But the main thing was just there were some contradictory things. I emailed Mr. Alexander on the 31st of August, and I did not hear back from him until the 7th of September, 1 hour before questions were to be answered on September 7th, to the deadline for questions to be answered. So had I wanted to submit a bid, that would have been a little time crunch to get that turned in, the answer being 1 hour before the deadline after I had emailed it 6 days prior to that.
Then we have 30 seconds.
Okay, well that's actually all I had. I welcome more restaurants coming to Sherwood. I just would welcome them coming in another space if possible. Thank you.
Mr. Grant, did you want to speak?
Just briefly.
Okay.